good about maybe golf, how to prepare tournaments, some practice routines, a little bit of the mental aspect of the game. But since we're such a short or little group here, maybe if you have any questions, I would love to take some questions along the way. How many of you play golf here? Everybody? All right, so maybe by the end of the day, everybody will raise their hands. They're willing to go. So maybe I can do a little bit about the fundamentals, but then also we can go in a little bit advanced. I know we have the golf team. I think they shut me off already. That's okay. So I'm just going to hit a few shots here, and I believe we have some volunteers. Do we have some softball players?
Yes. Softball. We have some softball players.
Mary. Is it Mary? Let's see, we got some volunteers.
Tell them where they need to go.
I think they know what they need to go. Either they're brave or maybe they're stupid hitting. I'm not sure. We have to see. Don't they wear helmets in softball? All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Is that the sign down here at the mound? Thumbs up. Okay. I'm just going to warm up. I just did a plane about 2 hours ago. So let's see. So in golf. Can you hear me? I know it goes in and out. In golf, you know, it's really important to warm up like you would do in any other sport. Get loose. And it's not always about the physical aspect of it. It's a little bit about the mental aspect too. You want to get your mind ready. You know, start thinking positively. Start thinking about the tasks that are ahead. So, you know, when I warmed up an hour and 15 minutes before my tee time, you know, I would start with some putts and a few chip shots and some bunkers, and then I would go to the driving range about 55 minutes before my tee time, and I would always start with the short irons first, so the 60 degree, 54, 48 degrees, which is, you know, some people call them the lob wedges and sandwiches, but just really the shorter shots, because you want to make sure that you have good tempo for the day. And it's really hard to find a tempo when you start hitting the longer clubs first. So I'm just going to start with these, and once again, we have two great little targets here, and I'm just going to aim at them. Normally we don't aim at people, but I know these two ladies are exceptional. So it's 50 yards. I'm trying to find 50 here, or maybe 42. I thought you dove in. Sorry. There we go. Almost. All right. They said they've never caught a golf ball before, so well done. Gotta give her a chance to warm up. How about that one? Good job. Oh, that's oh, you got a good team here. So in this warm-up routine, I'm just trying to find my tempo. And when you hit these shots, for your little beginning of golf, you can see it's not a full swing. It's shorter, but if you accelerate through, sorry, maybe I get it to you. Backswing determines the length of the shot. There we go. And then you accelerate through. You can have a little, you know, more narrow stance if you like, because there's a little bit more feel. Well, it's good when you practice, like anything, any sport. You want to make sure you have a target or have a purpose. In this case, I have a target, I have a distance, so this is really good. I can be here all day. I love practicing like this. Just make sure it doesn't have to run anymore. Again, warming up, finding the tempo. You can count. Every step they take forward, I know it's one less. Or if they take a step back, I know it's one more. Because distance is really important in golf. It's not just about hitting it straight. It's obviously knowing how far you hit it. There we go. Can you both walk back maybe? You want to do 10 yards back? Maybe they don't do this in softball. Perfect. Thank you. All right. I think they both look a little confused. I'll try one more. So now I'm going to take a little longer swing. Maybe there. And again, when I hit these shots, so I try to put the ball position more in the middle of my stance, and then swing through. There we go. Let's do a few more.
What are your go-to yardages with that?
My go-to yardages, a go-to means something you can obviously go to. Something you do very, consistently. So when I play golf, I always try to hit full swings. Full complete swings. It's a lot easier when you're full swing and accelerate through than swinging something, half a shot, 3/4, because it's more about feel. But when I hit a full shot, which I get to eventually when I warm up, this one goes 80 yards. I'm talking only about carry. The carry's 80 yards. Then it's 95, and then it's 105. So, my go-to, I would say, is 80. Now I'm just trying to do what I call distance wedges. It's really important to be able to practice those too. Because when you play, you're not always going to have a full shot. You're not always going to be at, 80, 95, or 105. You always have something in between. So you always have to know, do you swing a little harder? Do you swing a little softer? Do you take a club more or whatever? You always have to figure it out. But always when I warm up, I want to use these clubs because this is where I get the feel. But that would be my go-to, 80. And that's the thing is when for you that don't play golf, you can have 14 clubs in your bag, and you can have any 14 you would like. You can have, I'm sure most of you have heard of the big club with the driver. You can have 14 drivers if you like. You can have 14 putters if you like. I don't know why you would, but just so you know, you can really pick your own set of clubs. And the lower the number, the further it goes, because the lower the number has the amount of loft. So a 5-iron would normally go longer than a 7. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but most of it happens. So obviously you go down. Many players would have a 4-iron, 5-iron, and then you go down to 9, and then we have these specialty clubs within 100 yards in it. When you let them close. So, but the key is obviously to have clubs in your bag that you like, because the last thing you want to do is to stand over a shot and feel very uncomfortable with your club. I stand here and I tell you, I just love to hit these shots. This is a lot of fun for me. It gives me a lot of confidence. So for anybody doing whatever sport you do, if you're shooting basketball or hitting a tennis shot, you have to have that confidence of just feeling really good about the shot. One more, and then we can go a little further back. Is that 59? All right. Try to do 60. You ready? All right. You ladies up for a few more? Where do you want to go? You want to go a little further back? Another 10? I never did this in school. You got a great university. I love it. All right. So we talked about the different wedges. 4 wedges in my bag. Everything from, like we said, 80 to 105, and then the pitching wedge, which go about 115, 75. So. And I mentioned about the warm-up routine, an hour and 15 minutes. In the 55 minutes coming here, I will always start with the wedges, and when I feel a little bit looser, I go up even clubs one day, odds another time. The reason why I don't hit all of the clubs is because it takes a lot more than an hour and 15 minutes. And I always felt like, well, I'm tired by the time I have to go brush teeth. It's really important to find your own warm-up routine. Because when I started, I go out for 2 years. I went out there for 2 hours, and I thought, wow, this is great. And then I realized by the time I come to the first tee, I'm hitting a lot of shots of I would reduce my warm-up routine to an hour and a half. Still felt like it was a little too much, and then I shortened it to about an hour. In an hour, I felt like, oh, I'm stressing. So always find something that works for you. I mean, every player on tour has their own routines. Some players would work, would start with a longer club. Some players would start hitting balls first. You just got to find what works for you. And I think the most important thing to know that is, how do I figure out my own warm-up routine? Well, I would say that when you warm up, when you get ready for a game or for practice, if you feel like you have a good session, try to remember what you did, because obviously you did something that made you perform well. When you do something well, whether it's in school or whether it's at work or something, there are days you would perform better than others, and it could just be you had a great meal, you got a good sleep, or just a good warm up. Just find the things that you think work for you so you can perform well. Because in golf, people talk about being in the zone, and I'm not so sure about other sports, but you want to be in the right frame of mind to perform at the highest level. And if your mind is in the right place, you make good decisions. There's not a lot of clutter in your mind. You can just be clear. You can visualize things a lot better. So it's really important to really feel like you're ready to play. Throughout your career, whatever you do, figure out what works and what doesn't work. That's really how it's an elimination process. And if I didn't play well, trying to figure out what did I do that made me play poorly. Maybe whatever it could be. So just kind of obviously eliminate the bad stuff and bring in the good stuff. Okay? Okay, 70 yards. Let's see. I'm going to try it again here. And really not doing any changes here other than just full golf swing, because I feel like I'm getting a little looser. Ooh, does she see that high? I don't know. Ah. Nicely done. All right. See if her teammate is equally as good. Oh, she has to take a few steps to the right. Oh. Yeah. Felt a little breeze. We're swinging a little harder. What about here? Oh, she's not moving. Oh. All right. Should we do one more? Give her, what did we say? Give her a mulligan, right? All right. Full swing. Uh-oh. Now she has to run. I don't know if she can see it. Who wants to do it? All right. Let's do one more. All right. Come on, here's your chance. Home run. Oh. It's 72. Let's see what she does. Okay. So I feel a little wind, so I'm going to grab another club. And have a run. Do we have any questions about the short game? Everybody know short game? Short game is part of the game that's short. And also this is part of the short game. But really the key here, you can see that the tempo is very similar. Just make sure, especially for the team here, really swing through the ball. Visualize the target. Line up the club face to the target and feel how hard you have to hit it. I go a little bit of both. When I practice, this is what I call distance wedges. So I practice 40 yards, I practice 60 yards, I practice 80. And when I swing, I'm trying to find a feel for the distance that resonate with the distance and the feel. But obviously, the first club I hit, I can't hit it more than 80 yards, and I can feel a little breeze, and I'm not fully warmed up. So I realized that I don't have it, so then I have to go to 54, grip down a little bit and swing a little softer. So it's a combination of feel. And that's the thing, in golf, it's very different. Do you want to do some more, or have you had enough?
Push him back.
Push it back. 100, please. How long does this feel? Plenty? Plenty? Okay. And that's the thing, going back to what we said, you're not always going to have a full swing when you play, so you have to be able to adjust. Some players will grip down. Grip down means you're holding it further down in the club. Some players will shorten their swing. You can do both, because a full swing, obviously, is not going to go as full if you grip down. 101? Okay. Now we're going to add a little bit more there. So moving up to another edge here. And again, what's really important is, when you practice, I can take it, get one of these when I always step behind the ball and look at my target and take a practice swing. I'm feeling it, I'm kind of seeing it. I'm looking at the target, and then I will draw an imaginary line, and I would always pick a target, a little intermediate target in front, maybe a few feet, which is where I would line up the club, and then I would walk up there, line up the club face first, and I took a last look at the target, and then swing through. How short was that though? It's tough to tell. What about now then? Can you see it? Ooh. That ball's coming in pretty hard. Are you okay? What about now? I don't know. Can you see it? Oh, look! Woo! Yeah. So, we come to the next hole. Same thing. Always, stand behind. Look at the target. Visualizing. Are you all familiar with visualizing? It doesn't have to be in golf. It could be in basketball, any sport that you do. Always see it first. See this beautiful shot in the air. Because if you can see it, kind of gives you the confidence and the belief that you can do it. And then walk over this here, land at the club, and take your stance. A little waggle sometimes is good to get rid of tension. And then swing through. It's a little short. I can feel it on the club face, and the ball leaves the club face. So do another one, a waggle. She's not moving, is she? Is that 100.5? That's good. I'm glad you're testing me. Let's see what we can do on our right side. Or her left, I guess. Now, I'm determined. Are you ready? You don't know. Yeah. That's good practice. All right. How about you go to the end of it, and we'll catch you there sometime.
So were you a range junkie or were you a play junkie?
I'm a range junkie. I love to hit balls on the range. That's all I did growing up. I loved hitting, especially the irons. I loved hitting shots. So obviously when I came to the golf course, I had a lot of confidence in my hitting ability. But yeah, I would hit a shot, and then I would be like, okay, can I hit 2 in a row? And then if I had 2 in a row, 3 in a row, and it was just, I would keep, pushing myself. I just never got tired of practicing. And I think that's one of the things we can talk a little bit is there's always a difference in practicing and playing. Some players like to practice, some people just love to play. I think you have to find a happy medium. obviously you play because you're in a competition and you're being out on the court or being out on the course. But when you practice something, you're most likely working on a technique. Maybe it's your back, maybe it's your ball position, the grip, or if you're in other sports, you might be working on the technique. When you get out to the field and you're playing, it's very different. Now it's not about working on your swing. Now it's about performing. Now it's about hitting, my targets. Now it's more of a playing mode. So you have to separate playing mode and practice mode. In practice mode, again, maybe don't worry so much about the results. Worry more about what you're doing, the technique. On the course, it's more about, again, going out there. Here, I have a whole bucket. I hope I can figure out my technique in this bucket. On the course, you have one ball. Same thing in the game. You go out there and play tennis, and you go, swim meet, something. You have one race. You can't think too much technique when you're in the pool. You have to get your mind ready and separate the two of them. But finding the balance, you got to have some practice sessions. You got to have some practice sessions, and you have to have some tournament sessions. So, just a tip for the golfing team here is, finding the balance. When is your training session? When is your compete session? When are you resting? My season was pretty much calendar. So, I would start in March. March was my first tournament. And then we literally played through, mid-December at that time. Sorry, mid-November at that time. But it didn't mean I played every single week. Because our tournaments are a week long. 4 days of competition, pro-am, and then warm-up, practice round. So we have 6 days in each week. So, I would play, early on in my career, I played 5 tournaments in a row. And then I realized that my performance was just going down and down and down. I was tired. There's only so much you can concentrate week after week. You travel in between. So I realized in the end that I could only play 2 or 3 tournaments in a row, and then I would have 1 week or 2 weeks off. So I would recharge my battery. So the next 2 or 3 tournaments I was ready to play. But when mid-November came, I just needed a break. Mentally, I was tired. I wasn't making good decisions up here. I wouldn't be clear in my mind. So you have to know from your perspective, this is the school year. These are the tournaments. So really know when my players working on technique, because a lot of times these players, they leave school, 1st June or something. Now they have summer tournaments. And then they go back to school in August, and now we have school, college tournaments. So there's really no resting for a lot of these players. So I think it's really important to find the balance. I think if all you other athletes here, you have to find the right balance. There's got to be a time when you cannot just compete and when you cannot just train. Because you're never going to get better if you just keep on going. So when I ended in mid-November, I literally wouldn't touch a golf club for 5 weeks. Work out and build my strength. I wouldn't touch a golf club for that long. And then I would start to practice again. And now I'm practicing. You can say, well, what does a professional need to practice on? Well, I always could be better. I could always improve my technique. Maybe not so much my grips. My grip was more of a, fine-tuning, but just improving my swing. And again, you can't build a great swing in one season. It takes years. So every year, January 1st, we will set up goals. This is what's going to happen in 2017. From a technical standpoint, I'm going to do this and this and this. And we're leaving the rest. And then, you set them up. And then, you analyze through the years. I like to analyze. Some people don't like to analyze. I do a lot of statistics. And I would analyze every single shot. And I would look at my weaknesses and my strength. And I would always try to lift up my weaknesses. It's really important. And in golf, a lot of times you can walk off the golf course and you can be upset, thinking I didn't shoot a good score. But then you start to dissect it, and why didn't you shoot it low score? Well, you can argue I didn't make any putts. Well, why didn't you make any putts? Well, maybe because I was 40 feet away. Well, why are you 40 feet away? Well, you're not hitting the fairway. You're hitting out of the trees the whole time. It's very hard to hit the green if you're hitting out of the trees. So maybe in the end, because you're not scoring well, it could be something like your driver, for example. It's just, I think in anything you do, the sport, you have to be very objective. And that's what coaches are good for. They can give you feedback from the outside. Because when you're in it, you don't always feel like it. Maybe you feel like you're playing well. But maybe on the golf course, you're making some silly far as course management? Are you playing to your strengths? You know, I think the key when you, wherever you are, with every personality, you got to play to your personality. You know, I play a lot with my mind, meaning I analyze things. I play, I have a strategy. There's many players on the tour that play with their hearts. They're just like, okay, which club do I feel like hitting? Oh, I feel like hitting this one. They play a lot with their feel. You have to find who you are and what works for you. Because if I try to play more of a feels game, I'm probably not going to play as well. I want to know exactly how far those softball players are. How far are they?
120.
120. Yeah, I need to know that's 120. Some other players would say, oh, it looks like 120. I'm a lot more about numbers, but there's nothing wrong. You just kind of figure out, what kind of player you are and what your strengths are. All right. So while you think about it, a few more questions. Are you ready? So 120. Let's see how this goes. It wasn't 120. Still on one. What do you think? 120 or no? No.
Annika, one of
Yes.
our youngest players has a question.
Yep.
Billy?
Yes. My favorite golfer? Yeah, who do I like? If you look at the ladies tour today, do you know any of the professionals on the LPGA you watch? Have you heard of Lexi Thompson? No, she's pretty good. Brooke Henderson is pretty good. You watch some of the men play? I'm going to take a favorite in our group here, Justin Thomas. He's pretty good. Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
Yeah? Tiger Woods was pretty good too, right? He's coming back. He's going to play next month, or this month. All right. A little shorter. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's just sign in softball. Like, are you ready? Like this? Find out if she's ready.
Nice.
All right. Oh, should we give them a break or what? No? All right. So do a few more. It's good practice for me. So I talked about, routines, warm-up routine, practice routine, pre-shot routines. I'm going to show you. This is what I call my pre-shot routine. I would divide my little area here into two parts. Where the ball is what I call the play box, and this is what I call the think box. So I'm going to see if you're awake. What do you do in the think box, everybody? You are good at it. What do we do in the play box? Is that easy? Yeah. Okay. So am I in the think box? I see people play in the think box. I see a lot of people think here in the play box. You think and you play. So here I'm going to think about the weather. It's pretty beautiful here, by the way. Yes, a good spot. And I'm thinking about the wind. How much wind? I know it's 120. I just grabbed the NATO in here. And I'm going to take it. I'm thinking about my shot. I'm feeling it. I'm visualizing it. This takes out of my whole pre-shot routine is 24 seconds. So I've spent about 19 seconds in my think box. Now I'm going to walk over this little line I have here, and I'm now entering the play box. So now I'm not allowed to think anymore. All I'm going to do is line up the club face to the target, take a last look at it, and then swing through. I'm going to do is see if it works over here. Same thing here. here. I'm in my think box. Think about your shots. Feel it. It's really good. Look at it. It looks really good. Maybe even hear it. Feel like it's hitting the glove. Maybe you hear it going in the hole. Until you have a good feel about your shot. I'll step over the line. I enter the play box. And now you can see that the wind picked up, right? That's when you step out of the play box. Just kind of like, okay, let's regroup. Because we know this shot has to be perfect. Let me go over here. Line up. No more thinking. Just swing through. So this is something I think can be very difficult, but I also think it can be useful in a lot of sports where you have a preparation area and when you have an execution area. And the reason why I think this is important is because you're allowed to think and you're allowed to make a commitment here. You decide what to do. You're deciding what club to hit. You're deciding where am I aiming. But then when you're over here, this is when you're committing to your shot. Because if I stood over here and all of a sudden I go, oh, I think I have, I think I have too much club. And now you start thinking about decelerating the shot. Or maybe when you're on the golf course, you all of a sudden see a bunker on the left. You go, maybe I need to be a little right. And you do a last minute. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of times we all of a sudden change from what we were planning to do, and then you hit, and then the result is not what you wanted, and you go, oh, I knew that would happen. It is so important to make a decision and commit to what you want to do. A lot of times if we commit to our decisions, the results will be okay anyway. I mean in golf, I got an 8-iron here. If the wind decides to just pick up in the middle of my ball flight, do something about that? No. There are some things in life you cannot control, and that's one of them. You cannot control if the wind is going to blow more or less, during the seconds that the ball is in the air. So don't spend time on things you can't control. Wind is one of them. Can you control a score? Yes, no, can you control the score? If I can control the score, what kind of score do you think I would have all the time? 54. 59, yeah. 54. So I wish we can control. Can you control the club selection? Yeah. Can you control what you're aiming? Yeah. Most of us have control of our swing, somewhat, right? At least we like to think we do. Can we control our partners, our playing partners? A lot of times, I see these young girls play, and they come in and they might be upset, and they're like, "Oh, my playing partner was so slow." What does that have to do with your game? You're spending energy on something you can't control, and it's to go up to your playing partner and hey, speed up. That's all you can do. Whether your partner will speed up or not, that's another story. You have to learn to know where to spend your energy. A lot of people get upset about things they can't control, and I know that for a fact. In golf, I hit a shot, and it would land on a sprinkler, and we go, oh. Well, if you're pretty good at hit a sprinkler from 120 yards, I think that's pretty good. But you're going to get some bounces. They're not so fair. You're going to have some pairings where it's rainy in the morning and sunny in the afternoon. All you can do is go out there and adjust. Go out there and play the best that you can that particular day. Some days you might not have your A game, so to speak. You might not feel great every day. But you have to make the most out of it. In golf, we try to get a 75 into a 73. We try to make it better than maybe what it can be. But a lot of times it feels better when you make something good out of something that didn't feel so good. Some days everything is so smooth. You drive to the golf course, green light, green light, green light, green light. Okay, wow, it's great. I'm here to next day, red light, red light, red light. Oh, and then they close down the railroad track and you stop. It's just, you can sit there and you can honk and you can't get upset, or just like, get upset about things that you can't control. You know, try not to stand over the ball. Try not to have a lot of tension in your arms. You know, feel relaxed. Look at the target. And swing through. Go to the right. You know, the beauty of golf is we hit a shot, and we go find it, and we go hit it again. And we do this 18 holes. Some people go, why do you have to do this 18? It takes a long time to find a good swing and a good round. Just take some time with golf, patience. You hit a shot like that, you're going to go, she's not moving at all, is she? Somebody's going to hit it. You're just not going to hit it well. You know, you just have to do a quick reaction. Okay, I'm going to start over. I'm going to aim a little better. And then you learn from your mistakes.
Four.
And you go from there.
Annika.
Yes.
We have a lot of middle school and high school and college players that play competitive golf. Can you talk a little bit about how you managed being nervous, if you were ever nervous, maybe the difference between playing in a tournament that was really important to you versus a regular practice day, and how you managed your emotions so you could play your best?
Yeah, that's a good question and a good thing to talk about. First of all, I get nervous all the time. Coming to the golf course, I get nervous because, first of all, I want to play well. And I think, you care so much. You spend a lot of time in the gym. You spend a lot of time on the driving range. You just want to do so well. And when you can't control the score, you have a tendency to, be a little nervous what's going to happen. So I think the key is, first of all, to acknowledge that you're nervous. Acknowledge. And number two is, don't be afraid to acknowledge it. There's nothing wrong of being nervous. I mean, anybody that's have a test at school, or maybe going out on a date for the first time, or second time, or whatever, you're going to be a little nervous. You care about it. It's okay. And then, when you realize it and you acknowledged it and you're fine with it, figure out what happens when you get nervous. So when I get nervous on the golf course, I have a tendency to do things a little faster, walk a little faster, talk a little faster. I have a tendency to rush things. It's almost like I want to get rid of it. So when you know what happens, then it's easier said than done, but try to do the opposite. So if I walk fast, try to slow down. Take a few breaths, slow down. Don't just talk away. Think maybe a little bit what you're going to say before you talk. Sweaty palms is something I haven't really figured out other than using a towel. I haven't told my hands to stop sweating. And of course, you feel in your heart to practice a little bit. But really slow down. And I have my pre-shot routine. I have this routine, whether it's Monday morning, Wednesday afternoon, or Sunday at the US Open. I have my 24-second routine. Because when I have my routine, I can always go to that routine and I feel comfortable. So early on, when I was nervous, my routine would end up being 18 seconds. It's like I rushed everything. But I tried to stick my routine. What I try to tell people is, instead of focusing so much on the results, where I'm going to focus on my routine and focus what I call the process. The process, which includes, the think box, the play box, maybe I should just tell you when my 24 seconds starts, is when, the Velcro hits. That's when my 24 seconds starts. I grab the club, take a few practice swings, feeling it, analyzing it, then I will stand back here. Now I already knew the yardage before I started, but then I go over here, and I'm doing this process. Now I'm not worrying so much where I know where she is, and I know what I want to do, but I'm focusing more on what I have to do. And then you just kind of hit it and see what happens. You know what? When I'm excited, I hit it further. I feel like my adrenaline is pumping by being here. So slow down and maybe take another club. But again, you just kind of focus on the process and not so much about the results. Because if I stood here and say, okay, I'm not going to have her move. She's not going to move. She's going to get her, the glove up on the right side, and then you're putting a lot of pressure on exactly the result. Rather than doing glove here and just kind of swing the club, maybe you have a thought of, rotating your shoulders a little bit. And then see what happens. Because once I've hit it, you move on. Put the club in the back in there. Do we have a volunteer? Okay, you can come up. Are we done? Or we have some time?
Questions?
Thank you, ladies.